everyone, welcome back to Bioholic channel. I am your Monday educator Urpita Vishwas and today's topic is digestive system. To sustain life, body needs a continual supply of water, electrolytes and nutrients. This function is served by the gastrointestinal or so-called the digestive system. The main functions of the digestive system is the digestive functions like the digestion of food, absorption of the digested food and egestion. And this includes also some non-digestive function. Today I will discuss it through some topics. Let's show you. Number 1 is the functional anatomy of the digestive tract. I will discuss it through functional organizations, structural characteristics of the GIT wall, and last one is the innervation and blood flow of GIT tract. So let's start. At first, I will discuss about the functional organization of the digestive tract. It starts with the mouth, then pharynx, third one is the esophagus, then the bag-like structure stomach, the small intestine and the large intestine, and ends with the anal pore. Let us discuss about the mouth first. It is closely used term to denote the external opening and for the cavity it leads to. It has external opening and contain anterior 2/3 of tongue and teeth. In humans, the opening of mouth have many points or structures. Those are the hard palate, the soft palate, the uvula, and many types of teeth, and the tongue. So, the tongue in digestive system plays two important roles that tells the taste of food and helps in chewing and swallowing of the food. The tongue have many papillae. Those are the circumvallate papillae, the filiform papillae, the phalangiform papillae, and last one is the foliate papillae. In this, the circumvallate papillae is the largest one. And the teeth. The teeth functions for chewing the food. For humans, the teeth are called thecodont, as the base of the tooth is completely enclosed in deep socket of bone and gum. Here we can clearly see the many parts of the teeth. The outermost layer is called as the enamel, which is the hardest part of the body. Then the layer is the dentin, and in between dentin there is a presence of pulp cavity that contain blood vessels and nerves. And last one is the nervous part or the root of the teeth. In case of humans, the tooth are also called as heterodont, as it possesses more than a single tooth morphology. Here we can see the four main types of tooth. Those are molar, premolar, canine and incisor. The incisors provide strong cutting action, canines are responsible for tearing action, and premolars and molars have grinding actions. And the teeth are also called as diphyodont, as they have two successive sets of teeth. Initially it is called as deciduous and then it is permanent teeth. For milky teeth, formula is I 2/2, C 1/1, PM 2/2, And for permanent teeth, the formula is I 2 by 2, C 1 by 1, PM 2 by 2 and M 3 by 3. The next part is pharynx. The pharynx is the after part of the mouth that have epiglottis, larynx, esophagus and tracheal part. There is a presence of Waldeyer's ring. These have 4 parts: the pharyngeal tonsil, the tubial tonsil, the palatine tonsil and the lingual tonsil. The pharynx is a median passage that is common to the gastrointestinal and the respiratory system. The third part is the esophagus. It is a fibromuscular tube about 20 cm long, and at its junction to the pharynx, upper esophageal sphincter is present, and its junction with the stomach, lower esophageal sphincter is present. It can be divided into 3 parts: the cervical part, the thoracic part and the abdominal part. At the right portion, the diagram of esophagus is shown. Now let's move on to the stomach. This stomach is a hollow muscular bag connected to the esophagus at its upper end and to the duodenum at the lower end. It serves many functions. It helps to store food and mixing food with the gastric section to form a semi-liquid mixture that is called as chyme, and the food particle that present at the mouth part that is called as bolus. Here we can clearly see the many parts of the stomach: the fundus, the cardiac and the pyloric part. The cardiac part has a sphincter at the junction between esophagus and stomach that is called as cardiac sphincter. And the last part, the pyloric part, also has a sphincter between stomach and duodenum that is called as pyloric sphincter. The whole stomach is surrounded by a thick muscle layer. From the inner to the outer, those are the oblique layer, the circular layer and the longitudinal layer. The divisions in stomach is called as the rugae. Now, the small intestine. It is a long tubular structure which can be divided into mainly 3 parts. Those are the duodenum, the first part of small intestine, and it is sheath-shaped and measures about 25 cm in length. The second one is the jejunum. It is the middle part of small intestine and it is about 25 cm long. And the third one or last is the ileum, which is the last part of the small intestine and is about 3.5 meter long. Gastric chyme enters the duodenum where it meets with the pancreatic juice, bile and secretion of the small intestine. The partially digested foodstuffs in the gastric chyme are digested further and it is called as the chyle. There is a presence of villi in small intestine which helps in absorption of food particles from the stomach. Now the last one is the large intestine. It has many parts. The cecum is a blind-ended sac into which opens the lower end of ileum. The appendix, it is a worm-shaped tube that arises from the medial side of the cecum, which in human being is a vestigial organ. Then the ascending colon that extends upon from the cecum along the right side of the abdomen up to the liver. Next is the transverse colon that extends from the right hepatic flexure to the left splenic flexure. Next, the descending colon that extends from the left splenic flexure to the pelvic inlet below. Now the rectum that descends in front of the sacrum to leave the pelvis by piercing the pelvic floor. And last one is the anal canal open to the exterior through the anus, the opening which is guarded by two sphincters. Here we can see the inner structure of the large intestine. There are opening of the intestinal glands, and these have smooth muscle fiber and muscularis mucosa and submucosa, and have sets of microvilli. Now let's move on to the second part of this lecture, the structural characteristics of GIT wall. Different parts of GIT tract are specialized for carrying out different functions, particularly digestion and absorption. But the basic structural characteristics of the wall of whole gastrointestinal tract are similar. Here we can see the distinct layers of the GIT wall. From the inner, the number one is the mucosa, second the submucosa, third one is the muscularis part, and fourth one is the serosa part. The mucosa have three layers, which are epithelium, lamina propria, and musculary mucosa. The submucosa have gland and duct outside the tract. The muscularis part have two distinct layers of muscles, which are circular muscle and longitudinal muscle. And the serosa is divided into areolar connective tissue and epithelium. Now the innervation of GIT tract, which is the third part of our topic. There is a presence of local nervous system in case of GIT tract, which are the submucosal or Meissner plexus and the mesenteric plexus. This starts with the autonomic nervous system, which have two main divisions, the parasympathetic and the sympathetic. The parasympathetic through the vagal nuclei and sacral SP connects with the vagus nerve and pelvic nerve, then goes to the enteric nervous system of GIT wall, which are two types, the mesenteric and Meissner plexus. These two plexus interconnects with each other. Then these nerves supplies to the smooth muscle, secretory cell, endocrine cells, and the blood vessels of the GIT wall. And the sympathetic division have CNS or central nervous system, which connects to the Meissner and mesenteric plexus or enteric nervous system and connects direct to the blood vessels present in the GIT wall. Now the blood flow of GIT tract. The aorta is present, and through the hepatic part it connects to the liver. Through the left gastric vein it connects to stomach, and then it connects to the portal vein. By splenic vein it goes through the spleen and then goes to the portal vein. The superior mesenteric vein connects two parts, the pancreas and the small intestine, and both goes to the portal vein. The inferior mesenteric vein connects the large intestine and goes to the portal vein. So it can be said that from aorta different veins are originated, and it goes through the whole GIT tract part, and all are connected to the portal vein except liver. Liver is directly connected to the aorta through the hepatic vein. This supply is of three types: the intestinal circulation, the splenic circulation, and the hepatic circulation. So that's all for today. If you find this video helpful, please give it a big thumbs up and share it. And if you have any question, please comment below. and don't forget to subscribe our channel. And if you are new on our channel, please subscribe it and turn on the bell icon for further future notification. We will meet on next Monday with the second part of the topic, the mouth and its physiological function. Thank you.